I was so determined to get the top grade that I went to every single lecture offering of that class. So the 9 a.m., the 10 a.m., the 11 a.m., and the professor would just give me a weird look.
Welcome to Gen Z. Today I'm here with multi-hackathon winner, Jia Chen, and we're going to talk about Gen Z things, hackathons, startups, and all things SF. But Jia, to start off, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Jia. I love hackathons, I love projects, and now I'm building a startup, but I also like indie music.
That's an interesting combination. Did you start with music, hacking, CS?
Yeah, I started with indie music. So when I was 16, I was making music on Spotify. Um, and one of the songs I posted, I had just recorded from my phone and produced from my phone. And the next week or something, this guy with 3 million followers posted it on his story. And
Fun.
then like 15,000 people posted Instagram reels about it, and it got like 200K streams. So that gave me like a lot of confidence in my creativity to start like applying my creativity to engineering and products I build.
How did you go from music to then getting into CS?
Since I was 12, I wanted to be an inventor. And I wasn't particularly good at math. And so it had sort of like lowered my confidence as to pursuing engineering as a major or as a career. Um, but after music and after experimenting with different projects, I got my confidence back. And in one such cases, I had to take a Python course for college, and I was so determined to get the top grade that I went to every single lecture offering of that class. So the 9 a.m., the 10 a.m., the 11 a.m., and the professor would just give me a weird look. Um, but regardless, I was able to get the top grade, tutor everyone in my section, and then switch my major to computer engineering from finance.
So you always wanted to be an inventor. How did you even envision that possibility for yourself?
Yeah, so there's this book about a kid who was making a bunch of inventions. It was completely fictional, but there were like bubble guns, different contraptions that this kid made, and it was really whimsical. So then I found myself at 12, like in my room, building mechanical birds out of cardboard and like mechanical hands that you could control with your fingers. And yeah, it just like inspired me a lot.
Hackathons are a rite of passage for CS. What inspired you to go to your first one? Were you intimidated?
It was intimidating, but everything kind of stemmed from the excitement of an idea. Like I had an idea for the hackathon. I can't exactly remember what idea it was. It was the location sharing app, but at the time, I remember I felt very excited about it, and so I was like, well, this needs to come out no matter what. And plus, there's probably more experienced people there that I can team up with, and so I proposed the idea to that team, and they were like, yeah, let's do it. Uh, People are afraid to start a startup, or people are afraid to go to a hackathon, but when the idea comes to you, or you find the right people that you want to build it with, I think it just like comes naturally.
Some of the folks that I've met are scared to go to hackathons for two reasons. Number one, maybe they don't have a team. Even if they're technical, they don't have a team. And number two, they're not technical. What would you say to both of those different groups?
I would say for the people who are not technical, it works to show your team that you're willing to do anything to like solve a problem. There's some highly technical or experienced people who won't take action to work through problems. They'll be like, "Oh, my skills are at this limit." There's also like non-technical people who will go at all ends to like search things on the internet, like find Reddit threads, even use Stack. I guess people don't use Stack Overflow anymore, but I guess use LLMs to get to the root of a problem. And I think that surprises like not only the person themselves, but everyone on the team. So just that effort of like even staying up and continuing to pursue a problem. And then for the technical people that don't have a team, the first thing I guess for finding a team is that I think one thing people should know is that you shouldn't pitch yourself saying, I'm new to this, like I want a team to help bring me along." Just simply present your idea. Just be like, I have some ideas around this education track, and I have ideas around the sustainability track. If anyone's interested in those areas, you can join my team. Yeah, then it's easier to find a team that way. But as to like if you don't even have a team, it means everything to just show up and like hack on your own project. You can also meet cool people there that you might team up for the next hackathon with.
So you've been to so many hackathons, and Gia has won like 23, or is it more now?
23, that's again.
Which is an insane number of hackathons. And just for people that aren't in SF, it is extremely competitive to even get into a hackathon here. They only let in 200 people, usually at least like 1,000 people are applying to get in, and then there's usually 10 finalists or less.
Yeah, 10, 15, or 20, yeah.
Yeah, and so it's very competitive. What are your tips for winning hackathons?
I would say my tips for winning hackathons are The first tip that I tell everyone, slash the most important one, is visualize the demo at the end. Like if you only had like a 2-minute time span or video that you see yourself watching, like what will stick out to you? Is your attention grabbed? And you'll like start to pinpoint the top 3 features or even less than that are really important. And you can work backwards, put them out on a Google Doc and see how to execute on them. There will be yourself or your other team members will be tempted to integrate more and more features.
Yes.
But it helps to just focus on the top 3 most compelling ones that you visualize in the demo.
That is so helpful. Oh my God. There are so many times where I'll do this wrong. I'll include like the onboarding flow.
Mm-hmm.
And so the first half of the demo is just
The onboarding
put
flow.
your name. What if your demo breaks? What if your demo is too slow?
Beforehand, it's always another like pro tip, I guess, is to record a video of your product working. So like I think like 2 hours before the end of the hackathon or 1 hour before, I would record a demo video of it working. But it's always best to show the product live while you're demoing. So that's one thing, I guess, to mitigate that. And then I guess if you're showing it live and the product breaks, you can like revert back to that video. But in the best case scenario, your product works live because it does, I think, dock points when you switch to your video.
True. What do you show? Because I've gone to some hackathons and no one has pitch decks. Sometimes it's just the back end. What do you show in your hacks?
Well, for hardware projects, always let the judge try it out. So I just, like, for example, one hackathon, which we won like the best machine learning prize in, we use like PyGUI, Whisper, and Arduino, and an OLED screen to make like a Google Glass entirely from cardboard and just like scratch, cardboard and glass. And so we just put it on the judge, and let them see like live text being transcribed, on the Google Glass. So yeah, like it's always very interactive. Or one project that we did, which was like sign language, another classic hackathon project. We let the judges try it out as well. Gave them like hand signs to use. For crypto projects, like yeah, we minimized showing onboarding, I guess. Showed them what happens when a user interacts with a smart contract. And yeah, I think like simple demos, just showing the actual like the best parts of the product, or like what I've shown.
Absolutely. Yeah. And how do you, I could talk about this all day with you. So at one point I'm going to move on because I love like Jia inspires me a lot. And maybe you're one of the people that inspired me to start going to hackathons.
Well, honored. Yeah. That's crazy.
And I feel like, by the way, for anyone that hasn't gone to a hackathon, I'd love to hear your opinion on this, but I feel like I've learned so much about the AI world and been way less intimidated to try out new tools.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a very good place to try out tools that you haven't found before. Like I think I was introduced to Bun, just acquired by Anthropic, through like a hackathon.
How do you meet your team? Do you usually come with a team or do you meet new people every single time?
So for team, I tend to like to choose different people each hackathon. Like,
oh really?
Some people have a recurring team that they constantly win with. But I like meeting new people. And every hackathon is very different. So it attracts a different group of people. Though I think the person I've won the most hackathons with is my co-founder.
Oh yeah.
Like we have 100% win rate for hackathons. So like since for 4 years. Yeah.
Okay, if you had to distill what you do best at hackathons that you think is one of the reasons why you win, what is it that you and your co-founder do?
I think my co-founder and I are good at being focused during hackathons, while also recognizing when to pivot. So like in the hackathons, we usually like choosing very ambitious ideas and we relentlessly work on them. Like we don't sleep until we finish. And we have a bunch of like inside things that we do that are specific to us. One of them we call like the hackathon handoff, which I think like a lot of duos or like groups of 4 do, where if someone's too tired for a problem, they hand it off to another person. And so we like usually swap back and forth, give ourselves like a lot of time to focus on specific problems. And if you don't solve a problem in a lot of amount of time, we like look for a different solution. So like being adaptable, but also focused towards the last features.
Do you think hackathons are a good way to test compatibility and how well you work with someone under pressure?
So many wonderful companies have spun out of hackathons. I think Recur was one. Like I saw like a tweet where they like all 3 of them met at a hackathon, or they had been friends before, but they like won a hackathon together. Yeah, like Pylon. Apparently they're also hackathon kids.
We're from Michigan State University. Did you drop out?
I'm on leave. And probably not returning. So
Okay, so I want to talk about this because I feel like this is a hot topic. If it's a good enough idea, why are you wasting time in university? Just go straight to building and you're going to learn faster.
I have been noticing this trend where a lot of venture capitalists are investing in younger and younger founders, which I think that's like another conversation. But my opinion is that it should really be a thoughtful bet. Like as in there should be, I think, some traction on either some of your projects, or like you have a clear way to get funding, or I think some kind of traction / measured like risk management is good. For in my case, like the project I had done had already gotten revenue or more revenue than I would get for an internship at big tech. So I think that was like one of the convincing factors to dropping out or going on leave.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, de-risk, first of all. If it's just an idea and you're wanting to move to San Francisco and try to raise, that's very risky. So for students that are in undergrad and they want to finish their degree, should they do an internship or should they try to build something?
Hot take, but I think they should build something. And regardless if they could do an internship while building something, but building something is their priority. Like, it's never been easier to build things. A lot of people think that getting an internship or working at a startup will help them learn how to be a founder. But I think a hot take is, or I don't know if it's a hot take, but a hot take as to learning how to be a founder is just to start founding.
I will say that if you want to work at a startup to learn, make sure and it's in an industry that you don't understand and you want to go into.
Yeah.
For example, I had already founded a B2C company. So when I was doing fractional B2C marketing, I wasn't learning as much as I could have if I would have gone to a totally new space, like learning how to sell to hospitals. That's a really challenging process, or schools. It's, you kind of have to be in it to learn it. So I think that there are some times when interning at a startup makes sense if you don't know that space or you need connections first.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. It's never bad to intern for a startup. You like learn a lot more. I think interning for a startup over interning at big tech, and then building a startup over interning at a startup.
What are your thoughts on quiet quitting? Because that's another trend that's been going on, especially with Gen Z, where you're putting in the requirements. You're not going above and beyond at your corporate job, so you can build something on the side.
Yeah, it's coming up more. Also, because of people not being as not having as much job security, like all the layoffs and stuff.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
my parents' recommendation was always like stay somewhere for at least 5 years. And I think that that's changed a lot because you can put in so much time and then be laid off.
Yeah.
And that's great that you had the loyalty to stay at a company for that long, but it's not guaranteed that you're going to be able to climb that ladder. And so I think there's nothing wrong with having a side hustle. So when Gen Z folks come to you and they say, I don't know what to study or like what I should be doing because of all these layoffs of Amazon and these big companies, and I'm scared to get an internship. I'm scared about having a job. What's your recommendation if people are worried about that?
Everyone I still know in uni has been talking about. And a lot of people that are debating on dropping out or staying in. Yeah, people are wondering where the job market is going to go. I think it'll still be secure, at least for like solving problems or building systems. Like, I think people will generally be able to get jobs. But yeah, the AI world's starting to get really unpredictable. Yeah, I was just having a conversation at a dinner party with my friend who is saying that her parents even think that it's better for her to just keep on building a startup instead of going back to like a very good school.
Wow. That's a huge shift.
And like Asian parents.
My Western parents would not say that.
Also, wait, even my Taiwanese dad was like, when I went on leave, he was like, the point of going to school is to get a job. But if you're already getting job offers, you can just, you might not have to go to school.
So if people are curious about startups and they've never been in this space, like how were you exposed to it and how do you recommend other people get introduced to that?
Yeah.
Especially if they don't live in a place like Silicon Valley where it's everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, no, coming from the Midwest was like so interesting. Like there's a big culture shock in the SF, just like the way people dreamed about ideas, the way that people like move, just the pace. But I got introduced to startups through the hackathon pipeline. Like a bunch of it's like very natural for hackathon kids to just start making companies for whatever reason. And I guess also content. Like I was just seeing on Instagram reels about people building startups, LinkedIn as well. And yeah, just hearing about builders who just graduated into becoming founders.
And so how did you decide to make that jump?
Well, I had built a project in university, like in the entrepreneurship center at Michigan State. And it was funny because the backstory is that it was kind of like a whim. Like I had called up my co-founder. Well, he was my friend at the time, my friend Mohammed. And I had been like, tomorrow I'm gonna have a company. When I called him that night at 9 p.m., I built the MVP, and the next day I launched it at 9 a.m. and it blew up online. So that was the one that got like 20,000 users and the revenue. I like feeling the agency. It's like seeing this kind of revenue is like crazy to me.
Yeah.
Like it's like coming out of me. And I think during that time, like when you feel like a whim or you feel a hunch or you feel like you have an idea and you're really excited about it, I think like the time to take action is like very then, like right then, because the window is like very short as to when you can execute. You'll get like tired of the idea, or like the next day you'll wake up and be like, I don't think I have enough time for this. It's time to go to class. But the very second you get the idea, like it's like do the next possible thing to get it tangible, like write it down and then build the MVP and then release it. I think that's my opinion.
Absolutely. And I think, yeah, you gotta like leverage that energy while you have it. Another thing to stress test an idea if it's not being seen, you can't just put out a wait list, is asking and telling your smartest friends and seeing if it resonates with them. Like,
Yeah.
from your experience, how did you get your co-founder to decide to go all in with you on your startup? There's a little bit of evangelism, right? Getting someone to buy into an idea.
Yeah, I don't quite know how to this day, I don't know how I even convinced him, honestly. He said something about like seeing my conviction at hackathons.
Yeah.
I think maybe that was what contributed.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, it's like such a high pressure environment. You're probably sleep deprived. It's a really good way to see how people act in uncomfortable situations. So when it comes to your background with music, how do you think that impacts you as a founder and a builder?
For music, I think it gives me a lot of confidence. Like unexpectedly for engineering. I think one of my strong suits is coming up with ideas on the fly, or like I think that really helps for building momentum as a founder.
What do you think's unique about our generation? What are some of our strengths?
Yeah, some of the strengths are really the agency. Like like there's never been a time where people are really advocating for themselves, being able to like escape, maybe not escape, but like um not have people tell them to do things, like and express themselves more so than ever. Like artists are actually able to like monetize their art or make a living. And I think it's really beautiful to see. That's like one of the biggest strengths is the ability for Gen Z to express themselves. What's another strength? I think is how much Gen Z cares about like the world and social dynamics. Like there's a lot of Gen Z that are active in politics and like advocating for everyone to treat each other better.
Yeah. Where do you think that comes from?
I think social media is actually a big part. Like you're starting to see, I don't know, people use the word collective consciousness of like the public.
What is it about our generation that makes us a little bit rebellious against things that have been normalized for past generations?
Social media contributes because you can see examples of it in real time. And it spreads really quickly. I think we also owe a lot to like the generation before.
Absolutely.
And how they worked to get a lot of us in good enough positions to take risks. I think that's actually one of the factors. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah. And what's your recommendation for the last question to Gen Z folks about leveraging their strengths as a Gen Z person and going into kind of like this world where, politics are kind of crazy, AI is replacing some jobs?
I think my recommendation is that trust your ideas. I think it's really wonderful when I see people's faces light up saying, I have this idea for business, or I have this idea to make content, or I have this idea to get a community together. Like in that spark, or in that instantaneous spark, like please follow it and I'll support.
Thank you so much for coming on to Gen Z. I feel like there's so much to learn from you, and everyone should follow Jia. She's like won hackathons with like more than 850 participants, building up her startup called Jam Now, which is automating marketing and doing cool things all around, and posting her music still. So yeah, and like just to learn about what the SF landscape is like, you should definitely give her a follow. But thank you for coming on here and chatting with me. I am a big fan of Jia and have been following her for a year, so it's a dream come true for me to be here like with her coming on our channel. So yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, extremely honored that you had me on here and a great combo.